Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Saladino. All right, so I backed the Rippaverse the Monday morning that it launched. I had signed up for the email notification, so I got the link, logged in. I looked at the price and was like, $35? God damn, it's a 96-page book, and I got to pay $35 for this? And I had to stop and think. I'm like, okay. Black business owners throughout time immemorial have always complained about the fact that black people won't support their businesses because basically they'll be too cheap. They don't appreciate the fact that as a business owner, you've got to, the money, the time, the investment, the cost of getting whatever you're putting out produced, that takes money, so you need to charge a certain price. Meanwhile, you have black customers who are like, why do you charge your people that? You know we ain't got no money. So it's this kind of stalemate between black business owners and their customers a lot of times, or their potential black customers a lot of times. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, well, I've already been interested in this for a while now. I've been following Rippa for almost a year. I'm not aligned with him politically at all. Like, I don't agree with it, that libertarian stuff, it's not a big deal. Like, I just don't care about that. I'm not interested in that. But I do watch his anti-SJW stuff, his commentary on superhero comics and film and video games and that kind of thing. So when I first heard him mention he was going to do his own superhero comic, I thought of basically his comic book avatar that you see, in the outro to a lot of his videos. And I was like, and because he was saying the Rippaverse, and I was thinking, oh, so it's going to be basically a comic book version of him. That was the first thought. I just didn't care about it. And I heard him talk about it again more recently, and I was like, okay, no, he's serious about this. And, just the more time that I listened to his videos and watched a lot of his earlier videos where he talked about comic books, I was like, oh, yeah, this guy, he knows his shit when it comes to superhero comics. And he's at the same point I am. I'm definitely aligned with him on this, that I don't even care about the cinematic adaptations or the television versions of these characters, because they don't care about the continuity. They don't care about the source material and whatever. So anyway, he did a recent video where he was talking about how much money it cost to get to launch this, and I was thinking, okay, he spent $100,000 of his own goddamn money. He bet on himself, at least $100,000. It's probably more than that. When I logged in, he had already achieved his pre-order goal of $100,000. I think it was at almost $200,000 when I logged in. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, he had already did that. And then by that time, EVS, he was on a live stream with Ethan Van Sciver. And EVS was telling him that he expected the campaign to do 1 million in a day. So by that time, I wasn't surprised that he had already beat his goal. And I was like, well, I want to support this because, black man, black business, and an alternative to the bullshit comics that Marvel and DC are putting out. And what was funny to me was just how, well, anyway, so I bought the comic, $35, but that's all I did was the comic. He later showed the cards, and I'm like, God damn. If I wasn't on a strict budget this summer, a really strict budget, I would buy the cards, even though I don't know anything about the characters. They look beautiful. He held them up on, one of his videos, and I'm like live streams or something. I was like, okay, now this is something I would have got, because I was like, well, it's $35. The book's only 96 pages, but the guy is spending his own goddamn money. I believe in the quality of the stuff. This is before he showed the cards, but I believe in the quality of it. I don't know. The only thing at this point, the art looks fine. Coloring looks good. The story premise is really cool. The only thing is the actual writing itself. That's the only question I have about it now, is if the writing itself is good. The story synopsis is cool. It's fine. It looks like it's a lot of fun. It's funny, though. When I first saw the character Yaira in the launch trailer, I was like, oh, this is just a girl in like jogging outfit or something. And she actually looks a lot cooler than that panel they show her in. Like, I thought when he was saying, I think he mentioned her name in the trailer, and I was like, oh, she just looks like she's dressed like a regular person. She's not going to have a superhero costume. But she does, and she looks pretty cool. She actually kind of looks like Cole from Crisis on Infinite Earths mixed with Supergirl in somebody else. But anyway, I just said it to say that at first I thought that besides Isom and Alpha Core, which they didn't, in the first trailer they didn't have the name of that group, that they were going to look all pretty basic. But anyway, so I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get it, got it, and so, or ordered it, and so we'll see. What I'm not surprised about, besides the fact that it's doing so well, is how intense the backlash is to him. So here's a guy putting out a comic, and you have Reddit thread or Reddit, the subreddit, banning any mention of his comic because support of hate group. So because he does live streams with Fandom Menace and EVS, who's a part of Comic Skate, blah, 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 they're using that as an excuse to stop a black man from having his independently funded comic book be talked about. Like you can't talk. And this is the problem with SJWs, which is why, they are the bad guys. They're the evil ones. Anybody who looked at that trailer from Rippa could see that he's putting out a superhero book. It has nothing to do with promoting hate. It's not even pushing his own political ideology on you. He's just telling you, hey, here's a superhero book. This is what I'm doing. And, different people are talking about it as far as saying things like, well, Rippa has built up this audience, and so his fans are buying it for him. Now, I'm not, I follow him on a regular basis, but I'm not like a huge devoted fan of Rippa. I agree with him on this stuff. I know he knows his shit. And so I'm just like, I want superhero comics that aren't being produced the way that they're being done now, because DC and Marvel have completely destroyed superhero comics. Thanks to them listening to activists and feminists and whatnot, they are literally leading with gay characters, trans characters, race-bent characters. They got a black Batman. There's no reason for them to be a black Batman. They could have Batwing, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to invest in Batwing. They want to just say, well, we have a guy running around insisting that he's Batman, even though Batman is unique to Bruce Wayne. The fact that he was scared of bats when he was a kid. There was bats in the mansion, and there's a bat cave near his mansion. All that stuff. That's all unique to him. But you just have this fucking idiot running around in New York calling himself Batman. They had to move him to New York because nobody gave a shit about him in Gotham, because it makes no sense. But they are forcing that on readers. They've come to a point where they literally are like, fuck you. We don't care what you like or don't like. We're going to do this and keep doing it. We're not making money on it. We know we're not making money on it. But we're still going to do it, and what are you going to do about it? So for me, it's not just that. I know that obviously helps, that Rippa has, a huge following on YouTube and whatnot. But I also feel like there's a lot of people who come in there who don't know him. I've seen videos of people like, is it the Better Bachelor or the Casual Bachelor? It's one of those Red Pill guys. I think it's Better Bachelor, who was saying, I haven't read a comic book in years, and he thinks he threw away his Uncanny X-Men issue 1. But he's supporting Rippa because, not just the anti-SJW, anti-woke stuff, but it's like, this is exciting. Somebody who's literally telling you, you're a customer, I respect you. You don't have to like my politics. I still want you to buy my books. It's like is it Kelly Sue DeConnick who said that? If you don't like my politics, don't buy my books. And it's like, you should not even be in the comic book industry. You should not be writing comic books. Like, this is not, this whole SJW approach, the activist approach to superhero comics books, it's insane because it's completely antithetical to the point of superheroes. But the thing is, the reason why they're written the way they are is because, they're typically meant to appeal to boys mainly. Boys and men. So, for whatever reason, well, I know, because the whole patriarchy thing and this toxic masculinity thing, but boys are not supposed to have male role models. And they're not supposed to see women as cool, badass, but also gorgeous. And they're not supposed to like the girls. They're not supposed to like them. They're supposed to just accept that they're better than them. So we have all these dumb comics. And then a lot of these superhero comics now, they're catered to, they're pandered to gay people. and they pander to people on Twitter who don't like comic books, but, as Ripper said, and I said this myself, who just like the idea of black versions of like Batman or Spider-Man. They don't care about the comics. They don't read the comics, but they just want those things to exist. Like people insisting that Laura X-23 is actually Wolverine. I remember before I got kicked off of Twitter that there was whole people hooping and hollering about X-23 being her slave name, and it was traumatizing to her. All the stuff that they've invented, like stuff that does not imply to superhero comics, they've injected that into comic book discourse, if you will. So you have some idiot like Tom Taylor insisting that X-23 is actually Wolverine, and then having Wolverine looking like a dipshit going, "That's right, kiddo. Even though I'm sitting here dressed like fucking Wolverine, haven't been Wolverine since the 70s, being the one that movies have been made about, I'm now backing you up, this complete goofball character." Although X-23 is popular in her own right, and she should have just been stayed X-23. But for me, I don't care about her at all. But you have her dressed like Wolverine, looking like a complete clown, and it has nothing to do with what the readers want. And they want these people who love the idea of Wolverine being a woman and looking like Wolverine, not having her own identity. They love the idea of readers not having an option to go anywhere else because the media is controlled by them and by people like them and by people who've infiltrated them. They started as interns coming out of college. They all took their feminism and Buffy courses. Excuse me. So all they see the world as is broccoli. For them, media and entertainment is just broccoli. You're supposed to just force people to accept their view of the world. The whole Sarkeesian thing where every time she sees a character that's female looking like a female, she complains about it. Whether she knows anything about it or not, she will complain about it and make all these assumptions about it. Then you have people who really show their behinds and are attacking Ripper. And that was my point. Reason why they're going off and calling Ripper all kinds of N-words and Sambos, and then you have that stupid, I think they call Black Tar Sands Productions, I don't know, the #1 black publisher complaining about it, saying that, we are all fully black operated. And then you got Ripper posing with Kyle Rittenhouse. He killed black people. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't shoot black people. That just became a thing. And I guess because it was during like the riots or the protests or whatever during BLM. But as far as I know, Rittenhouse was hired to protect the store. I don't know the full story. I think he was hired to protect the store. I personally don't understand why they had this kid running around with a rifle, hiring this kid with a gun. But he didn't kill black people anyway. So, I don't know what their point was. But anyway, it's just you're not supposed to be successful and black and not follow their narrative. And they deep down beyond that, they're just using that because, it doesn't matter. If you don't go along with the program, they will attack you for anything. They don't mind being racist towards Ripper and using hateful slurs against them. I'm just laughing because one guy who did it, who was using a hard N-word against him, said, "Oh, well, he's aligns with hate groups, so it's okay to do it." That's basically his excuse. So that's the thing. It's that whole thing where all bets are off. If you don't agree with us and you're giving people an opportunity to get away from us and not rely on us, then yeah, of course they're going to attack him for being black. Of course they're going to call him a Sambo because white people happen to complain about a black Batman and they just make it racism. Now, I'm not going to 100% defend everybody in comics. In other words, sure, I can see people going, hey, some of these guys are edgy and kind of dicks and assholes. But as far as calling them a hate group, that's when I think it goes too far because, it's like this is not a hate group. They're not all the same. It's just the whole point of Comicsgate, beyond who, individually might be a part of it, is just, again, an alternative to this vice grip that activists have on mainstream media. I'm lefty, But I sound like a conservative when I complain about that sort of thing. But it's obvious. Like I said, you're forced. The main Superman title in DC is the gay son of Superman. That's their focus. Even though that's a niche approach. It's a niche approach to say that we're going to make the main flagship Superman title be the gay one. But they don't care. They're going to persist with it no matter what. You have people like Tom Taylor who's like proud of the fact that his comic book does not have action in it. And he'll have them talk about things like damseling. Like, because I think there was one of the issues, Superboy. I wanted to say something else, it was a slur. But anyway, Superboy and his little gay boyfriend, he leaves him at the Fortress of Solitude to go handle something. And then he's like, why are you damseling me? Why are you worried about me? Don't worry about me. I have my own agency. It's like, these terms are not real terms. These are dumb, fake terms that people like Anita Sarkeesian came up with. And, the whole fridging thing that Gail Simone came up with. There's a disconnect between what the mission and aim of a story is. You put a woman, usually it's going to be the female character because that's the love interest of the male. And that's the whole point of like Secret Identities. I don't want people to know that I'm Carl Rayner because I don't want them to hurt my family and friends. And usually the love interest is going to be the target of the villain to get at the hero. But they've turned it into something about agency, and she's not the main character. The point of the character is to you to be invested in so that she's not hurt. You don't want her to be hurt. And if she is hurt, that's to be challenging and shocking and whatever. But this has nothing to do with hating women. But like I said, anyway, if you don't share their politics, if you hang out with people who are edgy douchebags, it suddenly becomes a hate group, and they're not interested in really paying attention to what's happening. They just want to throw up chaff and say, oh no, this is all about hate. We want to create a safe space. And it's like, what in his launch trailer, what in his mission statement on his website has anything to do with, if you don't like gay people, come here, basically, is what I'm trying to say. His mission statement said, I respect the customer. And people hate when you say, I respect the customer, because they don't respect the customer. They hate the customer. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're spending money on it. You're not my customer. You're my student that I'm lecturing, or you're my enemy. But anyway, that's enough. I might take a look at the actual ISOM trailer, because there's one little complaint or critique I have about it. But it's kind of funny. So yeah, I might do that later. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.